Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is on a variant of a gun that I've actually done another range report on. This is the Thompson Center T CR22, but this particular version has the laminate stock and the lightweight carbon fiber barrel. So I'm going to call this the target model. It's definitely an upgraded and more expensive version than the base model that I reviewed before. Now essentially this is a Ruger 1022 clone, but it has a few upgrades and a few things that I honestly wish Ruger would offer themselves, especially a bolt hold open, something that I wish the 1022 had. But before we get into the things that I like and don't like about this particular rifle, I want to thank the people that always make these range reports possible. First and foremost is the owner of this fine firearm who linked it to the channel for review. That is my good friend Jack. He's a local subscriber and just an awesome guy who has a great collection. I also want to thank my Patreons as always, because through their monthly donations and support they help keep the lights on around here by helping provide me with equipment to make these videos possible. And as always, my primary sponsor for every single one of these range reports, because he provides all of the ammunition for them, and that is my good friend Mark from Brownworks. Hopefully you guys recently saw the video that I made where Brownworks made some wood grips for my wife's AR-15. I know what you're thinking, yes, wood grips for an AR-15. You need to go check out that video. Brownworks is a custom grip company making a wide variety of wood grips out of a wide variety of exotic woods for a wide variety of different firearms. Now, I know if you're watching this video, maybe you like stocks like this, laminate wood stocks. Now, as far as I know, Brownworks does not make stocks for rifles yet, but he does make laminate wood grips for guns like 1911s, Beretta 92s, and CZs. But he can do more than laminate woods. He can also put on custom logos and engravings. He can finish them in a wide variety of colors and put on many different types of textures. I'm going to put a link to his website in the description below. I'm going to ask you, if you like the Texas Gun Vault and want to support people that support the Texas Gun Vault, please go over there, check out his website, see what he has to offer. I have many subscribers that tell me all the time how satisfied they are with Mark's craftsmanship and customer service, and just absolutely love the grips that they get from him. So he's always looking to expand his product line. As I mentioned, those AR-15 wood grips and rail panels. He also engraves magazines for AR-15s and AK-47s. So he has a lot to offer. So please go check out Brownworks, see what he has to offer. If you don't find what you're looking for, make sure to contact Mark. And when you do, tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. Alright, so let's talk about this rifle. Now, I've already alluded to pretty much what this is, an upgraded Ruger 1022. It uses a very similar receiver. In fact, it might even be interchangeable. It is my understanding that there are some parts that interchange between the two, but it's definitely Ruger 1022 inspired, but with many upgrades and things that people have been asking Ruger to do for a very long time. After all, the Ruger 1022 I think goes back to the 60s or 70s, and they really haven't updated it at all. Now, the aftermarket has done wonders for the 1022, offering so many different types of barrels and stocks and optics mounts and so forth, and that you could really build a 1022 without even needing a single Ruger 1022 part. It's kind of like an AR-15. It's kind of the 22 version of Legos for adults. So let's talk about what I really like about this rifle, because I always like to talk about the positives first. First and foremost is one of those features that I mentioned in the past that I wish Ruger would incorporate into the 1022, and that is a last round bolt hold open. So these are proprietary magazines. They are rotary magazines just like you would expect to see from Ruger, but they have a different follower in them. And so when the last round is shot, the bolt holds open. Yeah, when you shoot a 1022 and you hear that click after the last shot, it's like, oh, I wish it would have told me I was out, especially if you're using one of the more extended magazines. Now, I don't know if Thompson Center offers these magazines in larger capacities than 10, but for a gun like this that's definitely designed more for target shooting, 10 rounds is probably enough for the type of plinking that you're going to do. But different variants of this gun, I would definitely want to have larger magazines. But it should be noted that all Ruger 1022 magazines will work in this, so the BX25, the BX15 will work, but it does not have that last round bolt hold open. Only the Thompson Center mags have that. I also like the fact that this particular variant has this lightweight carbon fiber barrel. It's supposed to be accurate and lightweight, and I can tell you from just holding this rifle, it definitely is that. This is a very lightweight rifle, although it looks like it's a pretty darn robust design. And let's take a look at this stock. That laminate wood stock looks absolutely fantastic. It just kind of looks space age and futuristic, but also very classy. Yeah, so if you like guns that are made of blued steel and wood, well, this is a gun that might intrigue you. Yeah, most of the parts in this gun are going to be aluminum because it's lightweight and a very modern rifle, but you still got that wood look. Yeah, I love the way laminate wood definitely looks. You also get a nice upgrade on the charging handle. One of the things about the Ruger 1022 I wish they would offer right out of the box is a better charging handle. They're very small and I don't find them to be very comfortable. This one offers a much better charging handle, which I do like. Let me go ahead and show you that. It's extended a little bit. It's not too big, but it's definitely bigger than the stock one that you would get from Ruger. We also have an optics mount here on the top that seems to be milled into the receiver. So unlike the 1022 where you have screws, this thing's going to be a little bit more solid, and it is a Picatinny rail or a 1913 rail versus a Weaver rail. So you have many more options for optics, and I do like that as well. So now let's talk about the only two things about this gun here on the table that I don't like, and it's going to have to deal with the stock. Now, even though I said I do like the stock because the way that it looks, and this laminate wood looks absolutely gorgeous and it's finished really well, well, being a type of standard stock, you don't have adjustments for length of pull. So if the length of this stock isn't fit for you, well, it might not be the most comfortable gun to shoot, or you might not be able to get the best sight picture with it. Now for me, that length of pull is pretty good, but I can tell you for my wife, it wasn't, and we're going to see some videos about that as well. The only thing also about this particular stock that does not conform to my body is the thumb hole. So this is obviously a thumb hole stock, here it is, and when I put my hand through this right here, I got kind of beefy, big old thumbs. In fact, I suffer from rheumatoid arthritis, and sometimes my knuckles can get a little bit inflamed and swollen, and they're also a little bit bigger than maybe your average. And just the way that this thumb hole stock is cut, it kind of rubs on the ball of my thumb up here a little bit. It's not very comfortable. So in order for me to get my finger on that trigger where it's supposed to be, it kind of rubs in this thumb hole stock. So you don't have any adjustments with it. Now, of course, anti-gunners will say, well, this is a much better stock than those ones that are adjustable, because those adjustable ones mean you can conform the gun and make the gun more accurate. Well, that's kind of the point of those. Now, I do know that with a stock like this, you want it to be as sturdy as possible. I just wish there was a way maybe to add some type of adjustments, and if I own this, I might actually have to file down this thumb hole just a little bit to make it a little bit more comfortable for me. But that's one of the reasons why I like more tactical guns, because you can adjust those lengths of pull. But to be honest with you, here at the table, that's the only things about this gun that I don't like. I really liked the CR22, the base model that I reviewed in the past. So pretty much I have high expectations of this gun. So let's go ahead and get it to the range. It's going to be different than most of the range reports that I do, and I honestly don't think I can do it justice. Mainly because this rifle is designed for long range shooting. I only have the ability to shoot at a 25-yard distance, and I'm not really a long distance shooter. I like tactical guns. So I'm not going to be running a magnified optic for this review. I'm just going to be running the Sig Sauer Romeo MSR, which was also provided by Jack, at 25 yards or less. And I'm not going to be trying to shoot the smallest group at the longest distance on this. I'm going to be treating this more like it's a plinking gun. I'm also not going to do anything tactical with it. So I'm not going to be shooting anything more than just using the 10-round magazines, because, as I said, this is more of a plinking target gun, something that you might want to take out, go hunting with, or just go to the range and have some fun with. So I'm just going to use those 10-round magazines, and for the most part, just kind of test its accuracy. So we're going to start off, see if this Romeo MSR is already set up and zeroed in. I'm going to set the target first at 10 yards. I'm going to shoot for the left target on this particular group, and I'm going to see how this thing performs and functions. And you really can't argue with that group. That is a really tight group. Now, yeah, it's only 10 yards using CCI mini mags with a gun that's very, very accurate with a great trigger. So I'm just gonna set the target back now another 5 yards, go out to 15 yards, and I'm going to shoot for the right bullseye and see if the group opens up anymore, and just continue to see if I discover any malfunctions or any other issues. And for a little range plinking rifle that just has a green dot instead of a magnified optic, this thing is exceeding my expectations. It is so accurate and so much fun to shoot. So far, no issues, and I didn't really expect any. So now I'm going to set the target out at the furthest length that I can go, which is 25 yards, and I'm going to bench rest. I'm going to put a couple bags in front of me and just see what happens. I'm expecting, once again, a great group with this rifle, and as I said, I really am not taking this thing out too very far, so I would expect someone that is an expert marksman, someone that does more long-range shooting, to be able to really take this rifle and do a lot with it. But for me, it's just an average gun guy, an average shooter going to the range and enjoying it as just a fun gun, just a plinker. Well, if I can get a good group here, I know anyone else could as well. So let's see how I do at 25 yards and bench rested. And it looks like I finally experienced my first malfunction. Now, this was going to be more of an ammo thing than the gun thing. Of course, you know, when you're shooting .22 long rifle, it's a rimfire cartridge and they're not the most reliable. So on that 10th round, the round just didn't go off. That's not the rifle's fault. It definitely is the ammunition's fault. The gun is shooting really, really accurate. So I know, as I mentioned, this gun is going to perform great. It's very accurate for me. Probably if I put on a magnified optic on this thing, it would be even better. I could probably go out to 50 or 100 yards, absolutely no problem whatsoever. Now, my wife loves to shoot .22s as well, so I'm going to give her a chance to shoot this at a couple of different distances. We're going to start off at about 12 yards and just get her initial thoughts and impressions. Now, one of the things that she always talks about is how guns fit her. When it comes to handguns, she's very picky about textures, and when it comes to rifles, she's very picky about how the stocks conform to her body. She's a lot smaller than I am, and I'm really curious because I think this has kind of a longer length of pull on it, and the thumb hole stock, as I mentioned, isn't super comfortable for me. So I'm curious what it's going to be like on her shoulder and in her hands. Well, let's see how she does and what she thinks. And I thought she shot it pretty well for her first time. She did complain though about the length of pull, not only when it comes to the shoulder, but also her hand. So the length of pull was a little bit too long for her. Now it should be noted that she is cross-eye dominant. And so that length of pull can really affect where she can put her head. Now another thing too that she experienced because of her cross-eye dominance is the fact that the rear end of this stock has kind of a sharp edge right back here, and this distance between this ledge and the butt of the stock is kind of long. And so when she was having to put her head down, it was kind of digging into the side of her face a little bit. Now, as for the placement of the thumb hole stock, she felt with her smaller hands, it was just too far away from the trigger. So she's having to constantly conform and move her hand to an uncomfortable position, or something that she felt was a little bit more unnatural. And this is where modern rifles, I think, really have an advantage. And when it comes to things like assault weapons bands that have adjustable stocks and links to pull, they actually should be fought under the guise of helping people with disabilities or helping people that have different body shapes and sizes. And therefore, not saying that they're tactical features, but they're features that make the guns more comfortable and safer to use by a wide variety of people. So I kind of wish it had some type of adjustment. Now, of course, this doesn't, so maybe more of a traditional rifle stock with this particular setup would have been a little bit better for her. But with the thumb hole stock and the way it comes from the factory, for her very small hands, it was just a little bit too long. Well, she definitely enjoyed shooting it. As I mentioned, she loves 22. So now we're going to set the target out at about 20 yards and see what happens to her group and how she performs at that distance. And I thought she shot this great. Obviously, she was going for the head on that silhouette target, and the only comments she had were the same at the shorter distance, and that is the stock just doesn't conform to her body very well. She said she could definitely get used to it. She definitely liked the gun, thought it was accurate and a lot of fun to shoot. So what are my final thoughts here on the CR22 by Thompson Center, this one with the upgraded fiberglass barrel and the laminate stock? Well, this is just one awesome 22 rifle. I think it is a great value. Now, this is about twice what the base model costs, but I don't think you could build a gun like this for what the MSRP is. It just has too many upgrades. It has a wonderful trigger in it, that fiberglass barrel, the laminate stock, the receiver. It's just a well-designed and well-put-together gun. And to be honest with you, I kind of feel like it's a better option than the 1022, just because you just get so many upgrades with it. The only issue that I have in this configuration is this stock. Now, while it worked for me, it might not work for you. So that's something that I would say, hey, if you're looking at buying one of these, especially with this laminate stock, go hold one at the gun store. Or maybe if your range has one, try to rent it or find somebody that owns one to get a little bit of trigger time on it, just to make sure it fits your body perfect. If not, you might want to go with a different stock. But the mechanics of this gun are 5 out of 5 stars. It's just that stock. But overall, on my star system, how would I rate the CR22 with the fiberglass barrel and this laminate stock? I would easily give it 4.75 stars out of 5. It exceeded my expectations. The gun is crazy accurate. It is so much fun to shoot. It is well put together. It is so attractive. It just doesn't have a stock setup that I think would fit most people. I think it would fit a lot, but if you're smaller statured, who knows, maybe even if you have larger hands, this might not be the perfect stock for you. And after my wife shot it, I think the biggest issue is this kind of pointed back here to the cheek weld. She could get used to the length of pull and where the thumb hole is, but this right here was digging into her cheek just a little bit. But but we might have to change this stock out if this was our particular rifle for her. But she thought the performance was great, the accuracy was great, and as I said, for me, it makes me look like a better shot than I actually am. Just what a great gun with, of course, the last round bolt hold open, which is a feature that I think Ruger needs to add to the 1022. They need to modernize that design. So 4.75 stars on this awesome rifle from Thompson Center. What do you guys think? Do you own any of the Thompson Center rifles? I would love to know if your experiences echo mine, because I have been really, really happy with the way this gun performed. So let me know in the comment section below, and as always, thanks for watching.